biggest, city. Like, shut down.
New York, LA,
California. Like, come on. Let's stop. Nothing's that serious. Oh, go ahead.
What do you guys think about with the home testing? Like, with me, I don't think home testings are true because a lot of people I know, like my boyfriend, he did 2 home testings and he got negative, but I don't believe that it's true. Even though he took 2 of them, they're negative. He also went and got a PC, which the other for the doctors, and it was negative. But still, like, these home testings, I don't think they're 100% accurate.
I don't think people have enough information because you can't be with somebody who had COVID and then the next day be like, oh, I'm gonna get tested. You gotta wait the 3 to 5. You gotta get the stuffy nose. You gotta have it's like a time period, and it's like, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna just like I said to my sister, I'm like, Yale's gonna tell me if I'm positive or negative. Now, everybody can talk about Yale if they want to, but they're an actual institution, and I want them to tell me if I'm positive or negative. I do think they work. I think it gives you an idea, at least because I heard that if it's positive, it's positive. Like, if you're positive, you're positive. If you're negative, it might be questionable, but at least you can do it and be like, okay, shoot, I'm positive. Now I'll go get a real one or something like that. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't really have any thoughts about it. It's just like a home pregnancy test. Sometimes I guess the home pregnancy test could be wrong, but then when you go to the doctors, you know for sure whether that bad boy was wrong or not. So you just have to be very mindful, and you really have to protect your space. You really have to be mindful about sanitizing after yourself. And it's not for you, but you're paying it forward for someone else. You're looking out for someone else. Like you're looking out for your mom, your grandmother, big little Benny, big B. Like you just have to be very mindful because, not everyone is going to have the same symptoms as you. Like, I may die and you just might be fine. That's just the reality of how COVID has hit this land. Like, I was buying my mom flowers for her birthday the other day, and the florist was saying that her daughter has been in a coma for 19 days and that her fiance died and the daughter doesn't even know. And I was like, Lord, have mercy. The daughter is in a coma. She doesn't even know her man died. And I said, how long has it been since the man died? She said, since December something. And I'm like, and what's my biggest problem? When I was listening to her, I couldn't even think of something that was as big as what the lady's going to feel when she finds out, coming out of a coma for like 100 days and then finding out within her coma, her fiance died of 11 years. So it's nothing to play with. And I feel like they're not being, like, outside world, as far as like school systems, they're not being mindful. Like, the only reason why we shut down is because we had no staff and there was no buses. So how are you going to leave the kids stranded to go home?
I think actually about that, and Sonia shut down and doing online because they have no buses at all.
No, we did shut down, but we are not doing online. We're just making up the days at the end of the year.
They're shut down. Yeah, and then with Hill House, I didn't go to school on the first day, so I was at work because you know how to get tested. My mom was waiting for us to get tested, so I did go to work. One of my classmates came in and told me like half of the teachers weren't in the building because of COVID. So it's like, and then another person came in and he said, at school, he went to co-op. He said half of his teachers was out and he was just sitting in the auditorium, not doing nothing. And he's like, bro, I need to go make my music. Like, I need to go do my work. And I can't because the teachers are not here. So I think we should just shut down like we did before and just get it over with. Like, I was talking about it with my boyfriend and his cousin. And his cousin actually had COVID and was positive. But he was like, that was for 2 weeks. And he talked about it. Like, we were talking about it. He was like, how can you get rid of COVID? And I said, I think it's mainly heat. He's like, because he said cold. I'm like, no, it's not the cold. I think it's mainly heat. Because when you think about it in summertime, it wasn't a lot of cases that we had because of heat. That's what I think. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I think that's
what
mainly
Trump
what
said.
it is.
Yeah, because we thought the heat someone was coming and it was gonna vanish. But what really saved us this summer, because the cases started rising in the summer, but what saved us is because the 3 states or 4 states, surrounding states, really was like hammered down. New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Connecticut really hammered down. So if anybody like dropped in from any state, it's the same rules applied. We had to mask up. We could only really go outside, like outside restaurants, like nothing inside. So our states really took it seriously, and that's why our numbers were like below 5%. But that heat didn't help us. The only thing it did, it want us to go outside, but it didn't help get rid of this thing.
It was all over the place. And then I was watching the news where China has now, if you're from the U.S., you're not coming into China. I want to say Russia was the other one. Was it Russia a couple of weeks ago? Or Iraq? Nobody. No in, no out. The whole airport was shut down. So it was the traveling. Everybody cross-contaminating. Everybody coming in. We even said at the university, because I work at the university, we're like, the parents coming in to get their kids for the holidays. Not even them coming back. It's just you're in the city, you're roaming around, and a lot of places left their precautions. A lot of restaurants was 50%. Now it's 100%. You sit right next to somebody else. Things like that. Like we did put. I have to say, as a country, as a nation, as a state, as a town, whatever, we did put down our precautionary measures. Like I said, it was half the amount of people in the restaurants. It was wiping down and waiting. It was, did you sitting there sanitizing people at the door? Walmart would sanitize you at the door. Not doing it. Not doing it. Stop.
That's why Walmart shut down now.
Yeah, exit 8.
Yeah,
Walmart.
the staff.
Mm-hmm.
The staff, yep.
Because people are getting it, and these same people have to work. And if they sick, they can't come to work. And you got the liars. They're like, I gotta come in. They don't come to work.
Did you guys hear about the new strand that they found in France? It's called the IHU COVID now. Actually, I looked it up. It was first founded in a vaccinated man who came back from Africa, and he got it from Africa. So, it said it was literally in like the near I can't say this word, Marseilles in southern France. That's where they found it. And they said 2 adults had it and 5 children had it. So they haven't said if they died or, they just had it. So I think now, if honestly thinking about it, if people now hear that it came from Africa, are you guys going to blame the Africans now? Because when it first came out and we heard it came from China, it was a lot of Asian hate. I'm not trying to say
it was a Chinese disease.
It was the Chinese. It was the Asians. Like I did say, I blame China. I didn't really go up to a Chinese person and be like, "Hey, you gave us COVID." I didn't do that because that's bullying. I don't bully. I pretty much was like, "Dang, it came from China." Like y'all just be eating anything and not knowing what y'all eating. But now I'm thinking like, if y'all hear about this strand, are y'all gonna blame the Africans and be like, "Oh, y'all gave us Ebola and now y'all giving us this strand"? I just think, like you said, Ma, it's traveling. Like, it's just people are traveling, so any type of COVID showing up anywhere and everywhere. And I think that's a problem. Yeah.
There was a 10-year-old.
Go ahead, Joe.
There was a 10-year-old kid that was getting checked in California, and they found something on him. He had COVID and like something else. I forgot the name. It started with an F. And I don't know if it was fungi. It was something. And they were like, "Oh, God, just say you just going to kill us all. If this is Sodom and Gomorrah, just let us know now." Because
that's funny.
I said to my coworker, "We're doomed." And she looked at me and she said, that is the most negative thing I've ever heard you say. She said, why would you say that? And I was like, because it's evident. Like, what is going on here? Like, every day there's something new. And then she looked like the earth stopped because I said it. She was like, you never say anything negative. I'm like, whoa. I felt bad that I said it and that she saw me in that light, but I'm like, listen, it's true.
But when you're faith-based people, you do look at it like, look, I think I said it in one of the group chats like recently, I was like, if they come with, now we got to do the mark of the beast, like, I'm done. At that point, I'm over. It's over. And we start getting stuff, you know, nowadays, you know, even the booster, a lot of people getting the booster are ending up with the COVID. And it's like, you know, you kind of think back, like, okay, you done gave me vaccinations. Took 2. Now you give me a booster. That's 3. Like, y'all get to 6, and now it's done.
But you're getting boosted and vaccinated for the first one. It may be Delta, but we're not getting boosted and vaccinated for Omarion here. Yeah, this is something that just came out of left field. We gotta probably wait another, I don't know how many months or years for, I don't know, but we're not getting boosted and shot up for this one. This is like the flu. It's a common cold that's running rampant.
But see, I wonder if it's a common cold or if it's another strain with different stuff, but because we're vaccinated,
right,
that's what we're feeling, a common cold. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like because we have something in us, we're only feeling a common cold. I really wonder how and how do they determine if you have Delta, if you have COVID, if you have, because I'm like, you just took a swab underneath my nose. Like, do you sit, and it doesn't say to you, you don't have Omicron or you don't have Delta or you don't have, it just says not detected. So I wonder how it affects someone who is not vaccinated with, this is what happens with Omicron. This is what happens with COVID. This is what happens with Delta. But because we're vaccinated, it's like, oh, it's a common cold.
Yeah. Actually, talking about that, when I saw my results and it said I was positive, I actually wanted to know what COVID I had. I was like, do I have Delta? Do I have the first strand? Do I have Omicron? I'm like, I don't know which one I have, and I want to know, but I'm like, I guess not. I seen a post on Instagram, and it said, it was literally COVID, but it said coronavirus, Delta, and Omicron. So I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking like, this is funny. Like, is this literally like the strands, and then are we done? Like, in my head, I'm like, COVID.
Because now it was like, I think I was like, the I something variant, it was like IS something for the I, like COVID spelled out. So now we're like, what's V gonna be? Next year it was V. We're getting for V, and then, you know, kind of, I saw that post.
And that's why in my head I was thinking that. I was like,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
That was a sign.
That's what I was thinking. Like, in my head I'm like, so is it like, is it just COVID and then you have all these different kinds, then we're done? Like, in my head I'm like, so COVID, we have all these type of different strands, we just don't have the I and the V. So I'm like, once we get those, is COVID officially over? Or just like, you know, because like my pastor be saying like, you know, at the end of the day, this is going to be done soon. Like, it's going to pass over. And I believe it is going to pass over. And she do say like, this is the ending times. You know, so I believe that. Like,
now, is she talking about the ending Bible times or the ending of this variant times?
No, I'm talking about the ending of the Bible.
We have to know which time she's talking about, because I feel like it's the ending of the time.
It's time. You know, like for me, I'm with you, Joe. I feel like it's these times. I think it's Bible time. Like, look at so many people have passed. Like, come on, like, I'm not trying to say that they weren't old or like they would have lived longer, but you had Betty White, you had right after Sidney Poitier, you had before that, it was like somebody every week. It was like, dang, who was it? It was just something every week. Somebody was passing, something that happened. You're like, dang, they were just here. So it's kind of like, is God taking his people home? Or we don't want to get too religious, you know, young people, but
I believe it hit once for me when Kobe Bryant died. When him and his daughter died, and literally COVID came out after that. I took that as like, yeah, biblical